Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. This is Jeff from Fluent American Check-In. This is an essay that I was trying to make a video for before, but I was having some connection issues. Now that they seem to be resolved, I want to return to this essay and try to get a better idea of how I would assess it. I'm going to send you a link. You can see it in the comments. I would also love to know if you have questions as I go through this. Be sure to send a message or post it in the chat so that way I can try to address it or explain why I think something would be changed or affected. But again, this will be a task 2. I looked at it again briefly, but I don't have a great recollection of it. So we'll be going through it together with a fresh lens. And again, if you have comments or something isn't clear as we go through it, let me know and we'll try to discuss and explain why. All right, so let's take a look at this. Some people think a huge amount of time is wasted. Times money spent on protection of wild animals. This money could be better spent on humans. To what extent do you agree or disagree? Great. Okay. So again, as always, if you just have a question that says, to what extent do you agree or disagree, that just means that you need to look at one side. It is not necessary to look at both sides. Just one is fine. Make sure you're exploring it fully. We also want to make sure that your opinion is clear from the beginning. I see a lot of students where they don't really make the opinion clear until the last sentence of the introduction, or worse, the opinion isn't clear until the conclusion, when the essay is finished. And that's not a good time to have that happen. You want to really make your opinion clear from the beginning. So I strongly encourage you from your very first sentence, make it clear what side we're on. But let's take a look and see. It's often argued that the resources used for protecting endangered species should be allocated, usually instead of allocated for, in this case, I think allocated to. And I think I vaguely remember this. Instead of using human, I would probably say people. Again, human is just such an unusual word in writing. I can't tell you the last time I used the word human in something that I was writing, especially as a noun. People is going to be much, much, much more common. Okay. Well, there are many human issues that need to be addressed. So maybe like instead of human issues, maybe something like social issues or something like that. Social, cultural, social issues that need to be addressed. Check your spelling for addressed. So again, we're missing an S. Okay, this is going to hurt your vocab score a bit. They're going to expect you to know how to spell address. So be careful. I disagree that we should neglect the importance of wildlife. A little bit odd to have disagree, which is expressing a negative thought, and then use the verb neglect, which is also a negative thought. I would say if we could write this in a more positive way, and make your sentence a little bit less ambiguous, a little easier to understand. I would probably phrase it as like the importance of wildlife. Yeah. I disagree that we should neglect the importance of wildlife. I would say the importance of wildlife like is too like deserves like the importance of wildlife means that it deserves more attention. Yeah, something like that I think would be a little bit clearer. My only thing is I don't know when I read your thesis statement, this thesis statement here, I don't know what the argument is that we're going to make in the essay. I don't know what your body paragraphs are going to discuss. I suggest having a thesis statement. This last sentence of your introduction is called a thesis statement. I suggest making the thesis statement as clear as possible. Okay, and right now, you really should be introducing what the body paragraphs will discuss, and we're just not doing that here. Okay, so we'll come back and talk about this thesis, how we can make it a little bit stronger. Let's move on to our first body paragraph. So, protection of wild animals must be high on the agenda of each country. So, again, so this is our topic sentence introducing the body paragraph. I don't know why it should be so high. Okay, I don't know what the body paragraph will discuss specifically. And this is a bit of a problem. It's going to hurt your task achievement score. It can hurt your coherence and cohesion score because the reader isn't fully sure of the organization. Okay, I don't know what this body paragraph is really going to say or focus on. So a quick way you can counter that, add in a because, and then explain the reasons that you discuss in the body paragraph. Okay, just introduce them. So firstly, many species contribute to the diversity of nature. Okay, so that's something you can mention first because of the diversity, reasons related to diversity, and whatever other reasons you introduce in the body paragraph. Okay, if they come to extinction, again, so we have a spelling error. And instead of saying if they come to extinction, that's a little bit of an unusual phrase. I would probably say if they go extinct, damage to the ecology. Instead of ecology, this would be the ecosystem. Will be detrimental. Okay. Detrimental means negative, but it doesn't mean like harshly negative necessarily. I would suggest using a slightly stronger adjective, maybe in like disastrous. We're trying to convince the reader that this is a big deal. So we want to try to use an adjective that I think is a little bit stronger. Why? So I read this and I ask, why is this true? More specifically, so our next sentence, okay, is going to elaborate. The disappearance of prey will cause a domino effect. I don't know if I would use the transition more specifically. We want to say something a little bit more direct. I would say, like, specifically, this will cause maybe serious problems because the disappearance of, instead of a prey, just prey. Disappearance of prey instead of in the food chain, from the food chain, will cause a domino effect. Instead of cause a domino effect, I think the more common phrase would be have a domino effect. Have a domino effect on all the predators that feed on it. As a result, many other animals will have their populations, we'll make that plural, have their populations reduced due to the lack of food. So this will cause a serious food chain, will have a domino effect. We don't really explain this fully. I would ask why. Why are we going to have a domino effect on the predators? What's that domino effect going to be? Okay. Elaborate, be specific. Even if you think it's obvious, try to be specific and explain. It's very rare that I've seen a student over explain. It's very common that I see students under explain. So always try to explain and talk about why these things are true, prove the things you're saying. Okay. As a result, many other animals will have their populations reduced due to the lack of food. Okay. All right. Secondly, many species are known for their benefits in improving their environment. Okay. So again, the reasons that we want to mention in your topic sentence here are talking about the diversity in the ecosystem and also it's like improving the environment. So those are things that you would want. These are ideas that you would want to include in your topic sentences because these are the focuses of this body paragraph. Okay. Secondly, many species are known for their benefits in improving the environment. Benefits in improving to me seems a little redundant. I would probably just say many species are known for improving the environment. For example, scientists have discovered that certain types of fish is fish, doesn't change, not count. Fish help make the ocean floor cleaner during breathing. I need a little bit more info. How does this work? This is an opportunity for you to really explain an idea that you've expressed, push your vocab, tell me about this a little bit more in detail. But instead, we kind of just said it really quickly. And you want to watch out for your last sentences of your body paragraphs. This is one of the most dangerous spots in a lot of students' writing because they present ideas that aren't fully explored. So that's something you want to watch out here. I think that this needs to be explained a little bit more. What do you mean by breathing? How do they clean the floor, the ocean floor? These are all questions that I have. Okay. So those are some comments on that first body paragraph that I think would need to be addressed to raise the score a little higher. How about that second body paragraph? So preserving wildlife has a lot of benefits for the community. Maybe instead of benefits for the community, maybe on the community. And again, a similar question to before. What specific benefits on the community will we focus on? I think you would benefit from having a more specific topic sentence. From education perspective, education is a noun, adjective educational. From an educational perspective, children can learn about nature through, instead of filed trips, it'll be field. I'd probably move your there to the start of your sentence. There, they can develop field trips, national parks. They can develop a better understanding of the environment via interaction with the animals. So we moved there, so we'll remove that last one then. So there, they can develop a better understanding of the environment via interaction with animals. Okay, I don't really, so with this first point, talk about education. Okay. Preserving wildlife has benefits on the community. From an educational perspective, what I don't get in these sentences talking about the environment, I don't get why it's important to learn about the environment. So why is the environment important to learn about? This is a question that I don't really understand from what we've written. And this is something that we'll need to address. Why are you telling me all this information? Why is this important? There's a reason that you're not giving me, so I need to know what that reason is. I can use a transition word to link a little bit more strongly. Also, in terms of the economy, nature reserves are famous destinations for tourism. So Jiangjia National Park in China as a typical example. As here. So consider this park as an example, as it attracts millions of tourists from all over the world. The park is even featured in the movie Avatar for the diversity of wildlife it has. Okay. So you tell me that we're having an economic benefit, but then, and you're also telling me there's millions of tourists, but I don't see anything talking about the economy. So what are the economic benefits from having this park / wildlife? And that's a question that I don't really see an answer to in this writing, and I think that's something that we would need answered. Okay, so that's an issue that I see. So I think there's some interesting ideas in this body paragraph, but there are some ideas that I don't think are fully explored, and there are some questions I have as a reader that the paragraph doesn't really give me any answers to, and that's kind of a problem. Also, again, like we said, having a more specific topic sentence for your body paragraph, you want to mention the things that you're actually discussing in the paragraph. Try to be a little bit more specific. So, for instance, has a lot of benefits on the community, maybe like in terms of educational opportunities and maybe like growing the even boosting the economy. Okay, so that would be a real quick suggestion. Are there other ways to phrase this? Yeah, for sure. But these are at least a quick way that you could make your topic sentence a little bit more specific. In conclusion, I disagree with the view expressed in the statement. Okay. I personally am not a big fan of statements that say I think, I believe, I agree, I disagree. These are emotions or stances that should be clear from the writing itself. You don't really need this. I already know you're writing this essay. Um, if you need a sentence that says like I disagree, then maybe your writing isn't doing enough work. There's ways to express your opinion without saying I agree or I disagree. So I would be a little bit more direct instead of just saying I agree, disagree. Maybe like in conclusion, wildlife deserves resources. It doesn't have to be a super long sentence. Just wildlife deserve resources. Okay. Because of their crucial role, who's there? I don't know who the there is. Okay. Maybe like because of animals' crucial role in natural diversity as well as their benefits for community. I believe. Again, you don't need that. Just say effort should be spent on preserving wild animals. And that expresses the same opinion. That sentence does not change whether or not you have the I believe. Okay. That would also go for your thesis statement as well. So while there are social issues that need to be addressed, again, you don't need the I disagree in your thesis statement. The importance of wildlife means that it deserves more attention. Especially because I'm just taking a quick look at the introduction again, trying to make this thesis statement a little bit stronger. So, so while there are social issues that need to be addressed, the importance of wildlife means that it deserves more attention especially because of its impact on maybe like ecosystems, environment, education, and the economy. So these are all reasons that we mentioned in our body paragraphs. First, we talked about the ecosystems, the food chain. Then we talked about the environment. Then we talked about education. And then we talked about economy. So your thesis statement gives you a map. It gives the reader a map of what will happen in the essay and when it will happen. So that's all I did right there. All right, so there are some things in this essay that I do think need to be improved on. We talked about some of the vocab things. We talked about the structural things. My guess is that this essay is looking at something like a 5 or a 6, somewhere in that range. Thank you guys for your time. If you have questions on this or other essays, be sure to leave a message. Also, if you're trying to get your own essays graded or reviewed, don't forget to check out my site at fluentamerican.com, where you can get your own essay graded by me and reviewed so we can talk about the mistakes or ways we can improve your writing. Thank you so much for your time. We'll see you later. Take care. Have a good day, night, and afternoon.